You're watching DevCentral's coverage of RSA 2023. I'm Aubrey with DevCentral, and I just got done checking out Wednesday's keynote speakers, which included Chris McCurdy from IBM Security Services, Kevin Mandia from Mandiant, and the amazing Eric Idle of Monty Python fame, who finished up and gave us all a bit of a laugh and a song at the end there. Some interesting takeaways from this one. Chris McCurdy talked a lot about how time relates to perception and reminded us all in the audience that time can only be perceived in the present. It's not something that you can experience in the past, and it's not something that your brain will register out into the future. It experiences time in the now. So what he tied things into was, how can a CISO take this knowledge and apply it to their organization? He also talked to us about how the human brain is the most mature predictive computer that we have got on this planet at this time. The brain constantly predicts. That's its job, to predict, to try and figure out what your next move is if you're falling over, or to try and predict how to deal with something that may come at you in the future. So how can we optimize the predictive capacity of the brain for our security environments? Well, he talked about two basic principles: know your attack surface, and deploy AI to save time. Those are the two things that he talked about CISOs being able to do to prepare their organizations for the current threat landscape, as time is definitely not on your side when you're under attack. After this, we shifted to Kevin Mandia, who gave us a little bit of an overview of the year in security from Mandiant's perspective, of course, and he also gave us an overview of what he considered to be the top attack of the past year. Kevin talked about how we're detecting breaches faster, but overall, the global median dwell time for ransomware has actually gone up. In addition, he spoke of how the top attacks seem to be changing from his perspective. From the year 2002 to 2019, spear phishing was the dominant mechanism for capturing victim zero. Around 2019, we saw the number of cases in spear phishing start to decline in North America. Not as much in the rest of the world, but in North America. Kevin's assessment on why that would be was because we're probably getting better at detecting spear phishing and defending against it here. And since 2019, what we're starting to see is the emergence of zero-day activity. 38% of the time, victim zero is acquired via an exploit. He also shared some data about where the most zero-day exploits are being discovered, and coincidentally, where the most zero-day attacks are being launched from. It would appear that overwhelmingly, the discoveries are being made in China, which leads us to his top attack for the year, which also originated from China. This was an interesting one. I figured the community would really like at least how this happened. If you're a security buff, this is a really neat one. It would seem the attack was very specifically targeting a zero-day exploit against FortiGate firewalls that allowed the compromise of 64 firewalls simultaneously via a directory traversal attack initially. Once the attacker was able to get inside, they put their payload in a protected area of the appliances so that even upon reboot, you might not be able to find an easy way to rid yourself of the threat. After this, the attacker went on to gain a foothold in the target's hypervisors. He also shared that the absolute biggest bang for your buck defense against ransomware is still multi-factor authentication. Even though we're finding people get around it all the time, if deployed correctly, this is still the most effective way to lock down the majority of ransomware attacks. He gave a couple of really great tips to try and help organizations to detect hidden threats in the environment. The cool one in my perspective was something he referred to as honey tokens. What are these? Well, these are very specific accounts in Active Directory that may have some sort of flaw or way to exploit, easy password or whatnot, and then trigger alerting based on activity in these accounts. You can bet that if you've got a number of easy honey tokens throughout your directory environment, you're going to be able to have somebody who's got maybe an authentication sweep attack of some sort. They're going to take these easy targets first, and if they do anything with these easy targets, if you've got it done right, your security team is going to know about it the second it happens. Also, we mentioned that stage 2 of almost every attack these days happens with PowerShell. If you watch for the directory access and PowerShell access on your servers, you may be able to sniff out some of the toughest to find attackers that there are. Last bit from Kevin, he did give CISOs some advice. He recommended that all CISOs execute a ransomware readiness attack every 90 days. And also, exchange peer experience. If you're here at RSA, go to the CISO roundtables, talk to other CISOs and understand what their experiences are so you can maybe all grow together. Because, in fact, we are stronger together. Which brings us to Eric Idle. Now, what does Eric Idle of Monty Python fame have to do with cybersecurity? In his words, absolutely nothing. He knows nothing about it. However, he did talk to us a little bit about the theme for the year, which is stronger together, or as he said with Monty Python's case, stranger together. Throughout the conversation, he recounted a number of amazingly funny stories, as you might imagine, involving a whole bunch of different British celebrities. Most prominently, George Harrison was included, and he tied everything back to how Monty Python really worked best as a team. When they came up with their best songs, they were working together as a team. The entire series, all the movies, all of the songs were written by 5 people and always working together. So it was a pretty amazing set of keynotes on Wednesday. Hopefully I'll get a chance to fill you in on some of the other keynotes that my badge didn't give me access to. Thanks for checking out DevCentral's RSA 2023 coverage. I'm Aubrey with DevCentral. Have a great F5 day.